Evil Squid Comics Podcast. We are part of the Collector's Maze Network.
Don.
Scott.
Andrew.
I have not read Grendel.
Let's see here. Bug Wars, Book 1, Lost in the Yard by Jason Aaron. And then is it Mahmoud? Asra? Is that the artist?
Mahmoud
Asra.
Mahmoud Asra. Okay. Starts off with a nice little map of the yard. I do in particular like the dead dog and area there, the wild weeds, the shed with the wasp nests. That's pretty cool, but it kind of lays some things out there. Has all sorts of aspects there of explaining a bit of the yard. So the overall gist of this is it is basically a big yard, somebody's property that happens to have a lot of different species of bugs in it because the owner, the previous owner though was call it?
Entomologist.
There you go. You guys can say those big words. So, studies lots of bugs and so happens to have all these bugs and it's all out there in the yard and unfortunately this poor soul died based off of his bugs in the yard somehow. Not really hugely explained in here, except for you do see like this kind of aftermath when one of the family members finds him and it's not pretty.
That's pretty ugly.
Yep. But the overall gist of it is years have gone by and the family that owns said house is coming back to it, trying to clean it up and whatnot. And one of the it's basically a mother and her two sons, and one of the sons, the younger one, happens to be very interested in bugs. The other one, having seen his father
get killed
by them, is
he really hates bugs.
He really hates them.
He hates them a lot.
Yes, and so you come to find out though that these bugs in this yard have this whole world that's out there to them essentially, and that there's a bunch of what they're called mites that are in different tribes, categories, whatever, and in some cases they are definitely fighting each other. It appears the ants don't like the beetles. Everybody's kind of scared of the wasps. And who's not scared of wasps? The spiders are like a bunch of psychics and kind of just freak you out because you don't really know what the hell they're going to do next, pull on you next. But, everybody's got their own little categories there, and they're trying to carve their own territory within the yard. And it happens to be something, a little twist happens in here, and our younger son ends up going Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Shrunk the Kids.
That's right, and becomes small like the bugs and ends up realizing there's this whole, world within their yard of bugs and things, and is basically trying to, how would you put it? He's trying to figure out what's going on there, as well as he realizes that all these bugs want to gang up against his brother because his brother hates bugs, and so he's trying to help his brother, and yet still trying to figure out what's going on, why he can even be in here into the bug world. How's his father got to do with all this type stuff? Because it seemed like they all know who his father was, all these mites, and so it's got this whole world building esque thing in here, but yet there's still a main story flowing through of younger brother trying to save his older brother, and just getting used to the world around him.
What did you think of it?
It's a concept that I think should have been extremely stupid, but it actually is pulled off in good old Aaron's hands. I mean, he can craft a tale. I can give him that. He keeps. We talk a lot of times about pacing. I think here again, he somehow figures out, how to. I don't know if it's as much of a pacing thing as he figures out, in this case, how to craft it to make it seem like, you got a little bit of this narration and there's a wider history here. He does a very good job world building, I guess is the way, to me anyway. It doesn't feel like the story is anything hugely unique. I mean, he's hitting certain themes and tones, that are in there, but maybe in its own way, it's got that nostalgic feel then with it, but yet still trying to put a twist on something new of the bugs in your own backyard type of idea. So overall, I enjoyed it. I don't know that it was real impressionable or say it's the greatest thing ever, but it felt like a nice, solid story, solid outing.
It was okay for me. I think I had a couple issues. One, I felt it was a little overwritten. Like Aaron, when he does sort of more fantastical stuff, likes to get like kind of flowery with his writing and like a lot of extra narration and just kind of like the characters talk kind of flowery. They have a lot to say and they say it in a very flowery way. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I mean, it gets
They do have
to
a
be
little bit of this almost
much.
strange,
Almost like
what would you say, Renaissance or...
yeah, almost Tolkien-esque or
Esque,
whatever,
yes, yeah,
you know? And
yeah.
so I'm like, okay, that's not really my
Fantasy type
jam.
thing.
And
I could
then-
definitely see that with, especially at the end of every issue with, what the heck was it? Anywhere from like 3 to 5 pages of...
I didn't even read that.
different types of bugs,
Yeah.
and the different
did they put that in the
categories.
trade?
Yeah, I didn't even read that. I'm talking about just the dialogue itself.
And that, I think could get a little, overbearing too from a whole, I mean, obviously it helps with the world building, but on the other side, it makes it seem like, wow, this is a whole lot more, almost work to be put into for that for a particular story. Now, I admit I didn't read all of it I skimmed it. So I was probably reading it in just little chunks and not enough to really say retain a whole lot, but to know that it was there and what it was doing.
And then my other issue is the kid gets shrunk down and then he somehow, has some kind of powers or whatever, know. And the rules of when the powers worked and when they didn't really make a lot of sense. It wasn't
was
very
all
well
the amulet.
Yes, but he couldn't seem to figure out quite how
No,
to
he
tap
couldn't,
into said.
but there was a piece
and
of
the
this
amulet, exactly, I was going to go there, was broken. So it could cause
So why did it work some of the time?
Because
and
it's
not
on the
others?
because
fritz,
it's on
man.
the fritz.
I think it just worked whenever it was convenient for the plot.
Not really.
Well,
he gets in that battle
there is
cage and
an
he
aspect
can't.
of that, but I mean, hence the reason why he broke it. So it could be
Yeah.
have a reasoning for it to be
I don't
convenient to
know.
the plot.
Seemed kind of weird.
I
with
mean, he
that.
seemed to be in a tight spot through most of it because he didn't have his powers.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But anyway, it was very. I enjoyed it. It was fine, but it was very. Man, there's a lot of swearing. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of.
There's some sex in there.
There's some sex,
bugs.
some bug
it's
sex
very
going on.
I mean, it's almost
And
like
then beetles just sleep with whatever. I mean,
Right.
come on, the beetle mites or whatever.
It's not for kids, that's for sure.
definitely
Yeah.
not for kids.
I was just surprised with how how adult, like over the top, like the language, the swearing, and which I'm fine with it. I just didn't expect it from a book called Bug Wars, right?
Yeah.
In the first issue, it's like
And
it's
I
like you
mean,
said, it's almost like Honey I Shrunk the Kids, but I mean they're chopping
But
heads
I was
off.
going to
at the
say
very
an R
beginning,
version
like,
of
right
it
off
because
the
I mean,
bat.
and that's where I was going to go. The violence is definitely pretty heavy throughout there too. I
Yeah.
mean, arms going, heads going. When they find his dad, I mean, it's pretty freaking gruesome there.
Yeah.
Of what they're showing there and. It is definitely. I felt like doesn't hold back there from that perspective either.
Well, I felt like he just wanted to do like a cool fantasy comic, but he didn't want to he wanted to give it a gimmick or something to make it unique, so he did like the whole Bug War thing, which seemed kind of superfluous to the whole thing. Like, I mean,
Do you think he could have just done an
just done a
isekai in
straight-
general and he'd
Yeah.
just drop him into some type of fantasy world that could have been video games or whatever, but just
whatever. Yeah, I mean, I don't
just
know.
find a way to go into a fantasy world and boom.
Yeah, I don't even need that. I think I'm saying if you want
Or
to do a
just
fantasy
make a
comic,
fantasy
just do
comic.
a fantasy
Yeah,
comic. Why is it
that's
gotta
what this
have?
is.
Why is it gotta have the whole like bug thing and the kid and the family? I don't know.
Because it's trying to reframe it in a different way.
Yeah, I know, but
and
we'll do a
try because
fantasy
everybody
comic.
knows about bugs. I mean, everybody's
Yeah,
got bugs
it's
in their
fine.
backyard. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So now to find out that your entire backyard is this weird fantasy world, I can understand the gimmick.
yeah, I guess. I don't know, like, I'm a huge fan of Mohamed Azra, and so I was super pumped for this, but I felt like it was a little overwritten, just not quite everything
I did
wanted.
feel like art was good though as well.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I
the guy's a
definitely
great
added
artist.
to it. Yeah.
He's amazing. But no, it's fine. Nothing, not bad, not great.
The lawnmower coming out, and they're talking about that it's some type of weird storm, the steel storm or something.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I thought it was good.